Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. Welcome to more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. So I've decided I enjoyed the first week in New York so much that I'm going to go ahead and have a second week in New York. We're going to go ahead and continue with scenario number 4 today, the SS Vermonter to Stamford. I was just looking in the menu before I started to this video, though, and I wanted to show you something I found out interesting here. Let's look at the order of the scenarios and what season they're in. These first two are in the spring. The second one is in the summer. We have two here that are in the autumn. We have a fourth one that is in the winter, and it's apparently stormy in the winter, so apparently it's a snowstorm, is what I'm taking that to mean. So, very, very interesting sequence of scenarios and how they're ordered by the season, and I love how the last one is in a snowstorm, which is probably going to have slippery conditions on the track, making things even more difficult for you. Hence why it's a 4-level scenario. So, very interesting. I'm going to be coming to that on Tuesday, so that's the plan. That'll be the final scenario of the 6. Now, of course, we're going to have to start exploring all this DLC that's down here, which, another story completely. All that DLC, plus anything that I've put in the standard tab, which I'm just not going to get to for probably about, I don't know, another year and a half or so. At least, easily, because I just have too many routes to play. I have enough scenarios, by the way, official scenarios, to probably play this game for 4 years with a video every 3 videos every week, and play a video, probably every 3 videos a week every, week for 4 years if I were to keep going like this. So it's actually kind of funny, kind of gross and funny at the same time how much content I actually have here. So I will be getting through all this with you. You're going to have to bear with me if I'm not getting to your favorite route. But if you want to make a request, please make a request. I will take requests, and I will try to shuffle some stuff up if it's of interest to you. So I want to make sure I'm doing stuff that interests you. Let me know, and I will try and do that for you. And if I don't have it, I'll see if I can get it, if possible. In any case, we're going to continue with the Vermonter to Stamford scenario. We're going to start that, rather. The shortest of the 3 remaining scenarios, 30-minute scenario. You join a southbound service for New York, but worsening weather is becoming a concern, which is never a good sign. Let's get started. Train number 620 today, I see. Welcome aboard Vermonter Service 55. We have called you in due to your expertise in these worsening weather conditions. Yeah, I do have a thing with snow, you know. The previous engineer has not run many night shifts yet, and we need to pick up the pace. Allow boarding and depart when ready. So I guess I'm an expert. I'm glad they finally recognize me as an expert around here. About time, don't you think? Let's get started. So, doors have been opened. We are picking up passengers. We are making our way to Southport, then to South Norwalk, then to Stamford, which, how far away is that? Oh, 22 miles away. There you go. So we're going 22 and a half miles today to get to Stamford. That is our itinerary for the day, and we're going to enjoy it, by golly. But then it is a night scenario. At least it's the sunset, so it's not completely night yet. So that part is favorable, but it is going to get dark by the time this scenario finishes. I'm pretty sure. We're getting towards that point. By autumn, it should not be this light outside. Usually it's dark by this time in the autumn, so I'm a little surprised that the lighting shows this much light still around the area, which does not make sense at all. I'm going to go ahead and turn my suppression on, so there we go. And there's our beep into a... Is that a yellow? That's a yellow signal. Uh-oh. Well, I've turned suppression on, so we can deal with that. I did notice we did start with the flashing green signal, so I know we're okay on the signal. Plus, I assume we would have been stopped if we managed to not be okay on the signal. We'll have game over. And by the way, Stamford is our only pickup. These first 2 tasks are go via, so we're just driving straight to Stamford, and that's it. I'm going to zoom in on the signal on the HUD just to show what the in-cab signal says. Medium approach. There you go. We have a medium approach signal. Perfect. That's what it means. I'm going to take a close look at the signal as it comes in, which is why I have not reset the zoom yet. There is what a medium approach signal apparently looks like. Oh no, here it is. They're both yellow, but we're going to ignore that detail. Or no, those are street lights. Those are not signals at all. Those are street lights. Okay. Okay, I'm not used to nighttime on this route. That is fine. I don't actually see a signal here, so I guess it's just the cab signal block. We're now apparently clear. We're now in a green signal. So we're going to move ourselves up to a 70 mile per hour speed limit in a moment. Not yet. But I'm bringing the speed back up to 30 for the time being, because I can do that. I'm going to lower the throttle now so I slow that increase, because I'm going to speed if I keep going at this pace. Let's not speed. What is with the dome up ahead? Is that my imagination? Is that the skybox? Okay, that looks kind of weird. What is with that? Okay, I need to check this, guys. I'm going to hop off the train for a moment. I'm going to fly up in the air. I'm going to find out. Yeah, that is the sunset. That is definitely the sunset. That's a heck of a sun. Worth knowing that the Sky and Weather Enhancement Pack is not set up to work with New York, New Haven, or really the American routes in general. It is possible to do it by changing the names of certain files. I have not done this, so I have not set this up to work with this route. This is default Sky on many American routes that I'm looking at. Now, we did see a recent post from Steve Dark, maybe a couple weeks or something ago now. I don't remember exactly when I saw that, but we did see that. And he did mention something about visual improvements with the retirement of 32-bit. They're now able to make more improvements. So they're testing, trying to do visual improvements. I'm curious how those will date back to older routes, if they do at all. So I'm curious to see what happens on the next phase of getting Train Sim Classic set up for future use. And while I don't suspect they're going to want to spend a lot of time in Train Sim Classic in the future, because it is, and I'm talking about for route design and things like that, because it is an older game, it's maybe possible that the improvements they make might actually make it even better than it already is. Then I still think this game's better than Train Sim World, just a personal opinion. I have nothing against Train Sim World. I play it too from time to time, and I have done a couple videos on it. I have seen a couple of really nice routes on there. And I've done a couple of cab rides for you, previewing TSC routes as well. But I still think this is the better game because there's way more content. B, there's third-party support, so you can have custom routes. Excuse me, custom routes, merged routes such as Danny's South Line into Brighton, or merges of the Chatham Main Line with the Faversham route, for example. Obviously, the Dover route resulted from that, and then another route came up adding it to Ramsgate and that as well. So now you can go from St. Pancras to Ramsgate, for example, or to Dover if you want to, which is a nice little touch. Having the custom routes aspect, and things like I Valley, the Wales and Borders route was a really good route apparently back in the Railworks days. So having all these custom routes available, and routes that third-party developers might work on, and I'm talking about things like Chatmoss, for example, just a good example. That's a very popular route on another website. AP's Wary Lines, which I doubt will ever come to Train Sim World, though it would be a nice route to see in Train Sim World. So things like that that were not made by DTG or partners released on Steam, except Wary Lines was on Steam, so I will disregard that one was on Steam. It's nice to have all this extra content that we can take advantage of, paid or free, doesn't matter. Just nice to have all the extra content. I will get a Class 185 one day, and I will ride it on the Huddersfield. I swear I will do that one day. I just am not in a position to do that right now. And it's also a bit pricey. We won't talk about that, but just a little cheaper, it might be okay. Money is an object not only for developers, but also for people that need to buy this stuff as well. And by no means is that a complaint. I just need to work right now. But yeah, I still think Train Sim Classic is the much better game in terms of variety, in terms of being able to put all sorts of different trains in different situations, having 6 or 7 or 8 different trains on a route. Now, Train Sim World is starting to get to the point there is enough DLC that BTG can make up varied timetables with, again, with 6 or 7 or 8 trains. The way the timetables work in Train Sim World is if you don't have the DLC, the layer just doesn't show up. So each train has its own layer or something along those lines. I don't know the exact details, but I believe it's something along that effect where each train has its own layer, and if you don't have the route that is needed for that layer just doesn't load. End of story. So you must have a much more sparse route than you would if you had every single layer and you had trains going 2 or 3 every 15 minutes or something like that. For example, this route, the next layer we're going to do is actually a balloon track scenario. And I actually have poked around with the Trenton route in Train Sim World, and I have noticed that the same Sunnyside balloon loop is used in the timetable for a lot of trains turning around back to New York Penn. I actually took a look at one point and I saw, I don't remember, I think it was in the morning, and I'm told that morning is when it gets really busy on the balloon loop. Apparently, I saw at one point on the timetable, I saw a train going every 2 minutes. So we had a backlog of trains all going around the balloon loop one after another, and they were just following each other in perfect sequence. And they kept right on going without stopping. So they all knew what they were doing. They followed their timetable exactly. They were all constantly moving, and it was really, really neat to see that in operation in Train Sim World. On the timetable, just poke in any time timetable, see what's happening in Sunnyside Yard, see if the trains are going around the balloon loop. Really, really neat. But of course, that being the end of the route in Train Sim World, you don't see traffic heading up where we are on the branch to New Haven, because you don't have trains going that way. You don't have the Long Island Railroad connected to that version of Sunnyside Yard. Sunnyside Yard does have make an appearance in the Train Sim World route, of course, but it really has nothing happening in it. It would be nice on the Long Island Railroad route. I should submit this idea, actually, if they ever do another thing for it. It would be nice to see on the Long Island Railroad route if they were to actually put Amtrak trains in the station and just have that same looping traffic going around the Long Island Railroad route, so there's more activity in that section of the route. That would be really nice to see, and I think it would be a really, really nice touch to add to Long Island Railroad. But the one that's there right now is a very, very old DLC. You've seen it before on this channel. I rode along on a train there when I previewed the Long Island Railroad back in July of 2022 when it came to Train Sim Classic. I think it was 2022. July? I know it was 2022, but I think it was July. I'm not 100% sure. That might have been Huddersfield. It might have been earlier for Long Island Railroad. I don't remember. I know Pegnitz still been, I think it was October or something like that. So yeah, I think it was earlier for Long Island Railroad. But anyway, point being, if they ever do an update on Long Island Railroad, I hope we get to see some of the Amtrak traffic going around on the Sunnyside Yard loop, just to put some activity over there, just to give people a reason to go and stand over at Sunnyside Yard and look around. That's really all I want to see there, and that would make me very happy in terms of the usage of Sunnyside Yard, because Long Island Railroad doesn't use it. At least put something there. That's all we need to do. Have AI traffic going in and out from New Haven to Penn, have traffic going around the balloon loop on its way back to Trenton, things like that. And they have the timetable for certain connecting routes now, so they can just grab the services from that and recreate them on the Long Island Railroad if they ever do a new timetable, which it really needs one, by the way, and signal fixes. And yeah, there's a lot they could do with that route if they were to go back to it, but we'll see what happens. I know I like the whole idea of the Long Island Railroad route because it is an enclosed route, and while we don't have all the branches, it would be nice to be able to go to Far Rockaway, Long Beach, West Hempstead, all the way to Babylon. I don't know if we really care past Babylon, it's just a straight track after that, but at least to Babylon. All that would be really, really nice to see, but that's a lot of stations, a lot of development time. I can understand it might also make the route too big, and it might be harder for players to maintain and install with a route, or even play it at all, because it might be too graphical, especially on systems with limited memory. So, while it'd be nice to see all those branches in there, maybe add Port Washington too to the list, because it's a branch. Maybe add Oyster Bay if you get diesels in there. So it'd be nice to see all that. It just would be way too much, but I would love to see that route complete, at least in Train Sim Classic. I don't think BTG is going to do that in Train Sim Classic. I have not seen a lot of discussion about anything in Train Sim Classic lately. Just the updates on the core updates, and that's it. Maybe once the core updates are done, there will be more activity on Train Sim Classic in the future, but I'm not holding out hope because there is a lot of development on Train Sim World, and all the work on Train Sim Classic seems to be core updates right now. But I'll let them. I'm not gonna try and get ahead of them on an announcement on that because I don't know. I don't know what their future plans will be in 2 or 3 years from now. They'll have to make any announcements like that. It's up to them to make that decision. So I look forward to seeing what the updated Train Sim Classic comes to be with the future core updates, and we'll see if it turns into further development on Train Sim Classic. What I do know right now is they are doing a lot of development on Train Sim World, being the newer of the 2 games, and therefore the game they want to work on right now. And I don't blame them for that. I do not blame them for that. And I will speak well of both games, and I still need to get a computer update before I'm willing to play Train Sim World a lot more than I am now. I play it just occasionally on video. I don't do a lot of video on it. And the reason, again, is because my computer just can't handle some of the routes. You saw on the stuff I did show for Nieder Talbahn that there were spots where it froze massively. And there's no reason I can think of why it would do that, other than the fact that maybe it's trying to load too much at once. The route is very detailed. I love the route. I just can't play everything properly on it. And I'm sure it's like that for some other routes in there as well. I have tried 1 or 2 other routes that I own, and I've had problems on them as well. So I really need to get a computer update, and then I'll be able to play a lot more Train Sim World for you. I do want to branch out into that game as well. That'll add another 2 or 3 years to my video agenda, but I'm hoping to start doing live streams at some point in the future if I get that new computer as well. And that new computer will be the one I use for all of my live streams. I might not put so much in terms of documents on that computer. I might leave them on this computer that I'm using right now and just do all my gameplay on that computer. That would allow me to free up a lot of space on this computer as well for doing my... I can do all the video editing and such on this computer, for example, that I don't do on that I already do on this computer now. I can still keep doing the video editing. Just get my videos, put them in a Google Drive, copy them over this computer, save them, and edit them, post them, and then they just stay on this computer and eventually move to an external drive, which is what I currently do. I put them on an external drive when I'm done posting them. So, in other words, every single video, and I do mean every single video that I've posted on this channel, is on the external drive that's actually plugged into my computer right now. I probably should unplug it between uses, but every single video is on there. And I've got a lot of DLC for the game on there as well, and I have to look through once in a while and just find something I want to bring up and use that as well. I have a lot of ATS and AP things on there. I have all of the UKTS stuff I've downloaded on there, which that site again is closing. I think it closes end of August. I think I'm airing this before the end of August, but well before the end of August as I'm taping this. I decided I want to tape this one ahead, which is why I'm not sure what day it is right now. But I'm planning to post it in a couple weeks of my taping it, something along those lines. So, yeah, UKTS closing end of August. I do want to show off a couple of routes from UKTS as well, routes I found there. I have wanted to show off I Valley for a long time. Maybe I'll do that next week. I might actually do that, because I've been wanting to show off I Valley for a long time, and it would be nice to be able to show one of those custom routes on UKTS. So I might consider doing that. I played it once so far. I did record it, but I didn't have a good recording setup at the time with the, I had the improper Zoom setup, for example, based on another project I was doing at the time, and the quality was horrible, so I just chucked the video and I decided I'll come back to it later, because I kind of want to have a map of the route when I'm doing the route as well, you know what I mean? I kind of want to have details of what I'm doing, what I need to remember, where the stations are, things like that, so that'd be very handy to have. So if I can get something like that set up, I'll at least have the information on what all the stations are. Because there's no way on a fixture where you're going to remember what all the stations are until you've played it a few times. And even then you won't. Notice, by the way, I've not been naming the stations going by them on this route. I just haven't cared. I just haven't cared today, honestly. If I feel like it, I'll add subtitle text. So you'll see what all the stations are. Pardon me. I did make a point in the first two videos trying to show you what all the stations are. I really should make a note of the stations from end to end on the routes. Just make a note for each route. Like have a little notebook with the stations for each route. I really should consider doing something like that. That needs to keep that on hand every time I play one of these. But I don't have it set up yet, and that's the reason I don't care today. I do need to set one up though. So let's look outside again. While we were talking, it got a little dark. So it's much darker now than it was before. This was expected. TS New York, yes it is. So we are expected to arrive in 10 minutes. We're planning to arrive in 7 minutes according to the ETA. I keep thinking of routes that I visited in the past I still have DLC to do. South Wales Coastal has come to mind just now as well as I'm thinking about this. So I might have to go back to South Wales Coastal at some point. I kind of want to finish more of the routes and scenarios I've started but haven't actually completed. I did just recently start Somerset and Dorset, for example, and there's a lot of scenarios for that. I think about 8 or 9 scenarios just on the standard tab, a couple of career ones as well. And then there's the 8F, which has its scenarios there as well. And supposedly, according to someone I've talked to, they're broken. I'll be the judge of that, thank you very much. I'll tell you if they're broken or not. And I'll see if I can fix them. I do have experience fixing a couple of broken scenarios. Just one or two in there. Periodically, you know what I mean? Forget about it. We're right at 70 miles per hour. We're doing okay for our speed limit right now. And we are going to be dropping back down to 50. So I have had a couple of changes down to 40, another one to 45, this one down to 50. We do have to change our speed periodically to maintain ideal maximum track speeds in certain areas. Why you can't just go 70 all the way through, I have no idea. Maybe there's a junction or something like that periodically. I can't, like, you tell me if you can see. Is my headlights on? Oh, they weren't on. Whoops. I was going to say, you tell me if there's a junction, but now the headlights are on, there's more chance we can see a junction now. Because you can see a little bit of track in front now. Yeah. That is smart. Drive a train without the headlights on, ladies and gentlemen, at night. Where is that? I don't see. Oh! Yeah, that would be a fireable offense for sure. I'll see you in the unemployment line tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Oops, I want to lower that just a wee bit more. Perfect. So we are coming up to Stamford. I can see Stamford Main 1 up ahead. Notice again that we are being given invisible tasks on the tracks. So the reason for that again is so that we get routed correctly. It's possible that, and I've seen it even on regular UK scenarios as well, where they just route you on the station for a stop. But for some reason you get pathed onto a different track and then back to the track you just left. It's like, why are we... You're joking. Okay, I swear my speedometer was not on. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't feel like fixing that. I don't feel like redoing that. I really don't. I honestly don't. I'm just going to let that be. I'm at the end of the scenario. I don't feel like redoing it. I can just throw that in there whenever I want to. I don't care. I really don't care. Part of my judgment call on that is because I've already played the whole half hour. All my commentary for the half hour would be lost. I'm not doing that. So I'll just go ahead and I'll do the scenario again. I'm going to have to if I want a perfect score, but it's not a big deal. Again, who cares? Who really cares? I'm still going to get an achievement out of this. It's perfectly fine. Don't know what the achievement is yet, but I'm going to get one. Well, let's see what that signal says, by the way. Let's hide the HUD. It says approach. Medium approach. There you go. We're back to a yellow. It was a flashing green on the actual signal, but yellow on the in-cab HUD. Might be referring to the next signal when it says approach. Yeah, we're super early. And I think we're going to be on a track segment signal, so it's not an actual signal. We're just being given a guidance that the next signal is an approach, which is the track aspect. So be it. So I've been slowing down gradually all the way in. Look at that. We have another New York... Oh, it's just called New York, New Haven. Okay, cool. So the train is basically the route now. There you go. The AI train is the route. A New York, New Haven train will probably leave before we fully stop. Because it was probably meant to pass us on our way in. I reapplied the throttle for a moment to make sure I don't slow too much coming in. You gotta try to pull up to the signal. Oh, it is a red signal for us. There you go. We have a red. They set the signal correctly this time. Might be a blocker train or something up ahead to force the red. Or they have another train on the path to make sure we don't get it. Okay, you're supposed to brake. Oh, I need to put the regular brake on. That's why. Okay, we're good. Alright, we have arrived at Stamford. Let's look at our train. So that was a nice little short journey down a small segment of the route. Just, I think it was Bridgeport we started at, heading down to Stamford. So that's basically 1/4 of our first two scenarios journey right there, going in the other direction. I think we went to Bridgeport on the third scenario as well, from New Haven. So we're basically making our way slowly south. The next scenario is not going to be from Stamford. That might be the final scenario, the winter one. Because I know next time we're going to start at Penn and end at Penn, going around the balloon track. So it's not even a passenger service. We just go around the balloon track. That's the end of it. So that is what we're going to do next time, I believe. And yeah, that is a nice little fun, slow journey in and out of the tunnels. So we're going to see how that works next time, and it's going to be interesting to see that. And then we have to hop on one in Train Sim World for you in the future as well to show you what it looks like in Train Sim World, because I have seen the yard in Train Sim World, and let's just say it looks very nice. Well, we've arrived at Stamford, but we're going to terminate the service here. Reports have come in about downed power lines ahead. It's going to be a disruptive night. That's the end of the service, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I can say about that. Let's go look at my penalties for speeding. That should never happen on that weird downhill. Let's take a look at that. Okay, this time the ding came up as this came up. Whoops, can't cut that one. So yeah, I got only 992 out of that because somehow I got a stupid speeding penalty when I went into a 50. I was already down to 50. My train just decided to go up to 51 on its own, and of course it's claiming 52 because, you know, 51.1 is considered 52. Yeah, that's logical. That's very logical. So now I have to deal with the fact that someone's got 1,000 points over here, and I'm not even ranking with them. Did it not show me completing the scenario? Maybe there is a problem with scenarios showing as completed for people. I don't know what that is. Maybe he did do scenario number 2 after all. I don't know. I'll have to ask him because he didn't show up on my list for that. Very, very strange. In any case, that's the end of that scenario, and I'll just come back and do that 1,000 on my own. It's not worth it for the video to redo it. We'll just do that on my own. But, yeah, other than that, we're done with this scenario. I'll see you next time for scenario number 5, which is the roundabout train on the balloon track, and I'll see you for that. I'm Cyclone. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel. They don't all go perfectly, as you can see, but have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world, and I'll see you for that balloon track scenario next time. I'm Cyclone. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night. Once again, bye-bye.